May the Force be with all of us today as Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3 is finally here. It's finally time to talk in full spoilers, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and if the Force is with you and you guys need a place to come talk Kenobi, because I'll be here every midnight with you guys. But let's have that great conversation down below and let's dive into this. Full spoilers ahead. Now, last week's episode ended on Hayden Christensen jumping back in. We see him getting suited up, and that's where this episode exactly picks up at. We see Kenobi trying to reconnect to the Force, ask for his master. We're hearing some voiceovers of Anakin, a little bit of Yoda here and there, I think. And, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, we're getting that Qui-Gon Jinn Force Ghost, right? No, we didn't. And again, they're building up to that. Where I'm here to say, I think in the final episode, before Kenobi battles Vader, that is when we will get that Qui-Gon Jinn cameo. It just feels ripe and perfect for exactly what we are looking for, and that will be that moment. But there was a lot that happened in this episode, and I was a little bit worried at first that this was going to be one of those middle episodes of them just traveling and getting somewhere. But from what it reminded me of is something of a comparison like The Last of Us or Logan, where while as cinematic as the show is being, while you're moving forward, there's something always happening, something developing, a new character, a new nuance, something in this nature. And that nature is, again, seeing how the Empire is taking over. We made a new character who's helping a bunch of Jedi, but also we get Darth Vader, which was fantastic to see. Now, Hayden Christensen, it's not his voice. It seems to be the original, of course, James Earl Jones, and he does such a phenomenal job. But the presence, the mannerisms that Christensen is giving as Vader is important. And I think this, again, goes to Deborah Chow's directing. And I've been pretty big fan of this show so far. I've really much dug what Deborah Chow is trying to do here in this character study towards Obi-Wan Kenobi and getting him to the point to where we have met him in A New Hope. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Now, was this episode perfect? No. There's some dull moments here and there, but seriously enough, this is an episode that absolutely climaxes on such a phenomenal piece. Even though I feel like Darth Vader could have jumped over the fire, they could have gone around to get him. Whatever. Put that nitpick aside, as well as what is going on with the Grand Inquisitor. Are we retconning what happened in Star Wars Rebels? I need to know that, ASAP, because I'm very confused on that. But in general, that's where I definitely want to hear some of your guys' thoughts as well. But really much, let's start with Kenobi and him going on this travels. Leia is continuing to be exactly how Anakin was as a kid, and this is totally intentional. And I actually want to say one of the parallels that I'm very much noticing is while Leia is very much acting just like her mother, as well as her father as a kid, the other character I actually want to do a really nice parallel to is Reva, played by Moses Ingram, who I've really much liked in this show so far. But she reminds me of Attack of the Clones Anakin, as well as a little bit of Revenge of the Sith Anakin. And I feel like both of these performances, both of the written nature of these characters, is to parallel that for Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. And I'm curious to see if you guys are also seeing that as well, but just with their attitude, the way that they are acting, it very much feels in that vein. And again, it all ties back to Kenobi and his guilt of his past, which is something that I'm loving in this character study. And of course, seeing them go in, getting on the back of the truck. We knew that was going to be an intense ride, especially when stormtroopers walk up. But once they got to that gate, that stupid mole guy started selling them out. And it was nice to see Kenobi go boo, 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 like a damn cowboy, man. I got that Western vibe there. They make it on their way, and of course, then they get stopped again. But this person is out to help them, which is cool. And, you end up finding out this person's actually been helping a lot of different Force-sensitive users as well as other Jedis. And we get the name drop of Quinlan, which, if you remember, if I'm not wrong, it seems to be a Clone Wars character, which I have not seen in a very long time. Definitely look that up. But interesting to see that. That was just a nice little name drop, if that's the character that I'm expecting and thinking of. But even going from there and seeing where they are all, they're trying to abandon. He's like, please promise me, because he gets this weird Force connection. He looks outside and you see Vader, which earlier in the episode we saw Vader getting suited up, which was brilliant. I loved it. Kind of had this horror vibe to it. But as he's going out, he's talking to Moses Ingram's Inquisitor and pretty much saying, you want Grand Inquisitor, you need to do this, this, and that. And really much from there on, just the might, the power, the fear that Vader streaks inside of people, you felt in that scene of him just sitting on there in his castle in Mustafar, and I love that. I love that little scene, and seeing the Inquisitors all go back to their kind of underwater base that we've seen, of course, in previous iterations of comics and games. A lot of awesome elements. But finally they come to clash, because we see the Inquisitors waiting, you see the shadow of Vader, and then he's just walking down this street, force choking people and really looking for Kenobi. He senses it, Kenobi senses it. That is what force sensitive users are. And Kenobi knows what he has to do. To save this town, to save these people, he has to bring himself into the light in some way, shape, and form. And he's running away. He's trying to just get Vader out of the way so that Leia can get away. It sadly does not work out that well. Because what ends up happening is we get this very rusty old Obi-Wan Kenobi in this duel versus Darth Vader. And while I didn't love the location or some of the shots that they did, the scene overall just shows the might and power of Vader. And while Kenobi has not been strong with the Force, and he's obviously 10 years of not training or doing any battling, Vader has been the one that has absolutely been demolishing and is probably almost at the peak of his powers at this point in time. And seeing him just swing these hard swings towards Kenobi, you know Kenobi's going to live, but you don't know what's going to happen to him. And when it comes down to the point where he has him in the air, he throws the lightsaber to the ground, he strucks the lightsaber to his lightsaber to the ground, starting the fire, and then he just starts dragging Kenobi through that. Paralleling to what happened in Revenge of the Sith. A very brutal, harsh moment that I loved. And again, showing that fear that Vader strikes right in people. I love that. But of course, you know the girl, she promises Leia she'll go save him. Leia keeps running. She comes in, takes out a stormtrooper, shoots the ground, shoots that, all explodes fire. Again, Vader could have easily jumped over it, just saying. It's like he's playing. It's like when you watch those like animal shows and like the prey is like kind of like hiding, and then the predator like plays with its food. Like that's exactly what it kind of reminded me in this moment. But very exciting stuff here. It was a great moment. Even though again, Vader easily should have captured him and all of them, but it was nice to see where that's going to be going. And it does suck because Moses Ingram, our Inquisitor, the third sister, absolutely grabbed Leia, and that's where that ends. So Leia's gone again, and now we have 3 episodes left. I don't know where this is going, but I'm along for the ride. And, you know, it's hard for me to really judge things that I don't love or like until I see the finale. But overall, I'm really loving what Deborah Chow is doing, especially on a character study level. That is not something that we get enough of in a Star Wars property. And arguably, I don't even think we've ever gotten a character study in Star Wars before. So I'm very interested to see where we see Kenobi next week, Vader, and Vera. Why am I thinking Vera? Anyways, Moses Ingram's third sister. I'm totally blanking. It's midnight. I'm exhausted. I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on this entire show and this episode. Do you like the first 2? Do you think this is the best one yet? Let me know down below. I'm excited to see where this goes, and I love that Vader and Kenobi duel. It was very, very exciting, and so many things to talk about. So thank you guys again so much for watching this. I'll make sure to catch you guys next week, and as well, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if the Force is with you. So, of course, may the Force be with all of us.